I'm sorry, Mr. Hackman. Your driver can stay in the car. We have blankets. That's what the hotel manager said, with a smile on his face. It was 11 p.m. It was raining, and Eugene Allen Hackman's driver, a man named Marcus, who had driven him safely for 300 miles, was being told he couldn't sleep in a bed because Marcus was black. What Eugene Allen Hackman did next cost him his reservation, his sleep, and almost his next movie. But it cost that hotel something bigger. 6 months later, the Grand Southern Hotel closed its doors forever, and the story of why. It became legend. Jackson, Mississippi, November 1971. Eugene Allen Hackman had just won the Academy Award for The French Connection. He was the hottest actor in Hollywood. Studios were throwing money at him. Directors were begging for meetings. But Eugene didn't care about any of that. He was in Mississippi for a film premiere. A small theater in Jackson was showing The French Connection for the first time in the South. The studio thought it would be good publicity. Eugene thought it would be exhausting. He was right. The premiere had lasted 4 hours. Interviews, photographs, handshakes with local politicians who had never watched one of his films. Eugene smiled until his face hurt. By 10 p.m., he was done. He wanted a bed, a shower, and silence. His driver, Marcus Thompson, pulled the car up to the Grand Southern Hotel. 5 stars, the finest hotel in Mississippi. The studio had booked Eugene the presidential suite. Eugene looked at the building. White columns, crystal chandeliers visible through the windows. Old money elegance. "Nice place," Marcus said. Eugene nodded. "You'll like the beds here. Studio's paying for everything." Marcus hesitated. "Mr. Hackman, I appreciate that, but maybe I should find somewhere else." "Somewhere else? Why?" Marcus didn't answer. He just looked at the hotel, then at Eugene. Eugene understood, but he refused to accept it. "Come on, let's go inside." The lobby was exactly what Eugene expected. Marble floors, fresh flowers, a grand piano playing softly in the corner, and a front desk manager who smiled a little too wide when he saw Eugene Allen Hackman walk through the doors. "Mr. Hackman, what an honor. We've been expecting you. Your suite is ready." "Great. I'll need a second room for my driver." The manager's smile flickered. Just for a second. "I'm sorry?" "A second room. For Marcus." Eugene gestured toward the man standing beside him. "He drove me 300 miles today. He needs sleep, too." The manager looked at Marcus, then at Eugene, then at Marcus again. "Mr. Hackman, could I speak with you privately for a moment?" "Whatever you need to say, you can say in front of Marcus." The manager's smile was gone now, replaced by something colder. "Sir, I'm afraid we can't accommodate your driver." "Why not?" "We have policies." "What kind of policies?" The manager leaned closer, lowered his voice, like he was sharing a secret. "Mr. Hackman, I'm sure you understand. This is Mississippi. We have certain standards." "Standards?" "The Grand Southern has served the finest families in this state for 75 years. Our guests expect a certain atmosphere." Eugene's voice was flat. "Say what you mean." The manager sighed. Like Eugene was being difficult. "We don't allow colored guests. It's not personal. It's just how things are done here." Eugene turned to look at Marcus. Marcus's face was blank, carefully, deliberately blank. The face of a man who had heard this 1,000 times before. Eugene turned back to the manager. "So where exactly is my driver supposed to sleep tonight?" The manager's smile returned. Warm, helpful, disgusting. "There are several establishments on the other side of town that cater to his kind. I can write down some addresses, or he's welcome to sleep in the car. We have lovely blankets we can provide." Eugene stood very still. He was thinking about his mother. Anna Hackman had worked as a housekeeper for wealthy families in Illinois. She had cleaned their toilets, washed their sheets, cooked their meals. And she had been treated like furniture. Eugene remembered coming home from school one day. He was 12. His mother was crying at the kitchen table. "What happened?" "Nothing, baby. Just tired." But Eugene found out later. The family she worked for had hosted a party. When a guest asked who made the delicious appetizers, the hostess had said, "Oh, just the help." Just the help. His mother had worked 16 hours preparing that food, and she was just the help. Eugene had promised himself that day. He would never treat anyone like they were invisible, and he would never let anyone treat someone else that way in front of him. Now, 30 years later, he was standing in a hotel lobby in Mississippi, and a man in a nice suit was telling him that Marcus, a man who had driven safely through rain and darkness for 6 hours, could sleep in the car, like luggage. "What's your name?" The manager blinked. "I'm sorry?" "Your name, what is it?" "Howard Pemberton. I'm the night manager." Eugene nodded slowly. "Howard, I want you to listen very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once." The lobby had gone quiet. Staff members were watching. A couple sitting by the fireplace had stopped their conversation. "I've been in hotels all over the world. Paris, London, Tokyo, Rome. I've slept in palaces and I've slept in places that don't have names. And in all those places, I've never once seen a man be told he can sleep in a car because of the color of his skin." Howard started to speak. Eugene kept going. "Marcus Thompson served in the United States Army. He fought in Korea. He has a Bronze Star. He has a wife and 3 children who are waiting for him to come home safely. And you're telling me he can sleep in a car, with a blanket?" "Mr. Hackman, I understand you're upset." "I'm not upset. I'm disgusted. There's a difference." Eugene reached into his pocket. He pulled out the room key Howard had given him moments ago. He placed it on the counter. "I won't be staying here tonight." Howard's face went pale. "Mr. Hackman, please, the studio booked—" "I don't care what the studio booked. If my driver isn't welcome, neither am I." Eugene turned to leave, then stopped. "One more thing, Howard." "Yes?" "I know a lot of journalists. I just did about 100 interviews tonight. Some of them are still in town. Some of them are looking for a story." Howard's face changed. "Right now, this is just a bad night. A misunderstanding. I leave quietly. You go back to your policies. Nobody knows." Eugene stepped closer. "But if I walk out that door and make a phone call, this becomes a different kind of story. The kind that ends up in newspapers. The kind that gets talked about on television. The kind that makes people not want to stay at the Grand Southern Hotel." Howard was sweating now. "Your choice, Howard. You can let Marcus stay tonight, in a real room, with a real bed. Or you can explain to the hotel owners why Eugene Allen Hackman called the Grand Southern the most racist establishment in Mississippi on national television." The silence stretched. 5 seconds. 10. Howard looked around the lobby, at the staff watching, at the wealthy couple by the fireplace, at his career hanging by a thread. Then he made his choice. "I'm sorry, Mr. Hackman. Our policies are our policies. We can't make exceptions." Eugene nodded. He had expected this. "Then you've made your decision, and I've made mine." He turned to Marcus. "Come on, we're leaving." Marcus looked stunned. "Mr. Hackman, you don't have to." "Yes, I do. Let's go." They walked out of the Grand Southern Hotel together. It was raining harder now. Midnight. No other hotels for miles. Eugene didn't care. "We'll find somewhere else, or we'll drive to the next town, whatever it takes." Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then, "Why? Why would you give up your room for me?" Eugene looked at him. Because you're not a second-class citizen, Marcus. You're not the help. You're a man who deserved better than what happened in there, and I'll be damned if I'm going to sleep in a nice bed while you freeze in a car. They found a motel 40 miles away. 2 rooms, clean sheets. Nobody asked about the color of anyone's skin, but Eugene couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., he picked up the phone. Hello? Frank, it's Eugene. Frank Martinez was a journalist for the Los Angeles Times. He had interviewed Eugene that afternoon. Eugene, it's the middle of the night. I know, I have a story for you. Eugene told him everything. The hotel, Howard's words, the blanket offer, all of it. Frank was quiet for a long moment. Eugene, if I print this, it's going to be big. Are you sure? I'm sure. The studio might not like it. I don't care what the studio likes. The article ran 3 days later. Oscar winner walks out of Mississippi hotel over racist policy. It was picked up by every major newspaper in the country. Television news ran segments. Radio hosts talked about it for days. The Grand Southern Hotel tried to respond. Mr. Hackman misunderstood our policies. We welcome all guests. Nobody believed them. Cancellations started pouring in. Business travelers, wedding parties, conventions. Everyone who had booked at the Grand Southern started calling to change their reservations. Within a month, the hotel was half empty. Within 3 months, they were laying off staff. Within 6 months, the Grand Southern Hotel, 75 years of tradition, closed its doors forever. Howard Pemberton was fired 2 weeks after the article ran. He tried to find work at other hotels. Nobody would hire him. His name was attached to the story. He was the manager who turned away Eugene Allen Hackman's driver. He eventually left the hospitality industry entirely. In 1985, 14 years later, a journalist tracked him down for a follow-up piece. Do you regret what happened that night? Howard was quiet for a long time. Every day, not because of what it cost me, because of what I said to that man, to Marcus. What would you say to him now? I'd apologize. I'd tell him I was wrong. I'd tell him I was just following rules that should never have existed. Have you tried to contact him? He wouldn't want to hear from me. And I wouldn't blame him. Marcus Thompson continued driving for studios for another 20 years. He worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, not just driving, eventually managing transportation for entire productions. He retired in 1991. In 2005, a documentary about the civil rights movement interviewed him about that night in Mississippi. What do you remember most about Eugene Allen Hackman? Marcus smiled. He didn't hesitate. That's what I remember. Most people, they hesitate. They think about the consequences. They do the math. Is this worth it? Is this person worth it? He shook his head. Eugene didn't do any of that. He just saw something wrong, and he acted, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Did you stay in touch? He sent me a Christmas card every year, handwritten. Every year until I retired. Never forgot. What did the card say? Marcus laughed. Same thing every time. Marcus, thanks for getting me there safely. Stay warm. Eugene. He wiped his eyes. Stay warm. After what happened that night with the blanket, stay warm. That was his way of remembering. His way of saying it still mattered to him. The Grand Southern Hotel building still stands in Jackson, Mississippi. It's a community center now, open to everyone. Above the entrance, there's a small plaque. Most people walk past it without noticing. It reads, "On this site in 1971, a hotel refused service to a man because of the color of his skin. Another man refused to accept that injustice. The hotel is gone. The lesson remains." Eugene Allen Hackman never talked about that night in interviews. When journalists brought it up, he changed the subject, but Marcus Thompson told the story to his children, to his grandchildren, to anyone who would listen. One man, he would say, one man decided that my dignity was worth more than his comfort, worth more than his career, worth more than anything. He would pause. That's not common, that's not normal, but that's who Eugene Allen Hackman was. That's who he really was. They say if you walk through the quiet streets of Santa Fe today, past the adobe houses and the art galleries, you might see an old man walking alone. No entourage, no cameras, no fanfare. Just a man who spent 50 years pretending to be other people, and then spent the rest of his life finally being himself. Eugene Allen Hackman never played the Hollywood game. He never smiled for the cameras when he didn't mean it. He never pretended to like people he didn't respect. And in an industry built on fakery, his authenticity was the rarest thing of all. Is there a moment in your life where you walked away from comfort to stand up for what was right? Or a moment when someone stood up for you? Hollywood has many legends, but Eugene Allen Hackman was something different. He was the truth in a city of lies. If you want to know the real stories, the ones they didn't put in the magazines, you're in the right place. We are peeling back the curtain on the legends. If this story moved you, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these untold stories. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Eugene Allen Hackman, The Untold Truth, and turn on notifications. We're just getting started. There are stories about Dustin, about Francis Ford Coppola, about the night Eugene walked away from Hollywood forever. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Leave a comment below. Have you ever walked away from something because it was the right thing to do? I'll see you in the next video. Stay real.